just because somebody's had relationship struggles in the past doesn't mean they don't understand relationships. Like I have the guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If your wife likes acts of service and quality time with herself, run her a bath and make sure the temperature's right. Number 2, add some essential oils to it. Light 2 candles and send her in there when you have it right.
They're wanting to be told, good job, or
Yes.
I recognize you. Like,
They
that
just
was
wanna
great.
They just want to be recognized.
Cleaned your plate, great job. Or you swept the floor. It sounds sometimes
do you
feels,
guys see and hear like how hard this is for her? Like
it is, but and it's
everybody, welcome back to the Prime Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Skip Wyss, and I am here with my wonderful wife, Dr. Julie Wyss. And today we are talking about love languages. The last couple episodes, Dr. Julie, that we've been on here talking has really hinted towards communication. Last episode, we talked about just talking back and forth, understanding when and when not to ask the right questions, understanding how to really effectively communicate with the people that we have in our lives. And today, I really want to dive into love languages and the 4 languages of love that work back and forth with each other. You know a lot about this, being a business coach, being a person that coaches families and lots of women. I think that love languages is something huge. I think they're extremely important for a marriage. And can you dive into them just a little bit and talk about them today? Because I think that you're a really smart person on this.
Yeah, I think for our listeners, it's Gary Chapman. So I think you can find, and he's got this for relationship. He has this for businesses. He has this for kids, for families. And so like the quizzes have, gone off into different directions to be able to see if you're in a relationship, if you're single, to really, I think it's important for you to understand what your love language is. Say if you're just starting out in a relationship, or maybe you're single and you're wondering, how come I'm never finding the right person? Sometimes it's you not understanding, well, what are you actually looking for?
Okay.
And what do you need from that relationship?
Yeah, I think that there's an emptiness in a lot of relationships. Like they don't feel heard, they don't feel seen, and then they don't trust their partner. I think that is a big thing. But also understanding my language of how I feel love, how I talk to you, and what makes me feel special is totally different than what yours is.
Yeah, and we've both taken the test, and
we
are complete opposites. And so sometimes if they say opposites attract, maybe that's where that truly comes from. But yeah, there's four groupings of when you go through the quiz of what you like or how you like to be communicated with.
Yeah, and they are acts of service, kindness goes with service, it's quality time or special time, physical touch, and then giving gifts and gifting. And this is why, guys, like when you're talking with your spouse and you do something for your spouse. So let's say I go out and get you flowers. I know that you like getting gifts. I know that that is actually one of the higher things for you on your love languages. So getting you flowers, buying you small things actually makes you feel loved, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But what's ahead of that?
Acts of service. Yeah, acts of service. Quality time too. Physical touch could be the lowest, actually the lowest on your list.
And that's your top.
And that's my top. And see, guys, this is what's interesting is in a relationship, you could be doing everything. What I found is that typically the spouse, whoever it is, actually acts out their acts of love that they enjoy the most to their spouse.
Well, because you're showing the person, okay, if I do all of these things, maybe they'll get the sint that they see me doing all of these things. Maybe they'll jump in and do these things, and that. So like that's mine, acts of service, because I'm always doing. And so if somebody else can do those things, that's a huge thing for me. And so originally, like, I would think that I was making you feel good when I would do these things for you, but that was that just got me madder, and it
Guys.
backfired because it was like, you didn't care. You're like, oh, well, that didn't do anything
what
for me.
is the lowest on my list?
Acts of
Yeah,
service.
it's actually a 0. Like when we took this test, and I thought for sure I would have some. It's like acts of service was 0. People doing things for me,
you appreciate it,
it's
but
not
it's
that I
not,
don't appreciate it, but it's that it does nothing for me to make me feel appreciated, or that somebody's trying to help me, because I'm always I will do it myself type person. And you're the same way. But what happens then is that people, like spouses in particular, and this ties into your relationships, and this ties into anybody that you're trying to have more than just a transactional relationship with. And what I mean by that is that I do A and B, and then you'll do C in return. That's what a lot of people's relationships are. They're very transactional with their children, with their spouse.
We did this with our kids.
Yeah,
and
with their employer.
It was super helpful to understand of why they react a certain way, or why their personalities are a certain way. And we do this with our team, like you mentioned, and employers. And so we do this with our employees, because sometimes they don't know. Like if we talk about rewards or bonuses, or what we can do to make your team feel special. And if they don't know what those things are, at least understanding if it's like time, well, maybe they want vacation, maybe it's sending them away for the day, or maybe they like family is super important for them, or just the doing things, or maybe they like the gifts. It's understanding that to best service those things for them.
Well, let's dive into each one of these, because I think Mr. Chapman, or is it Doctor? Gary might be a doctor by now. I know he's not a reverend. Reverend Chapman, sorry, but Dr. Chapman talks about this. And just because somebody's had relationship struggles in the past doesn't mean they don't understand relationships and the way humans work. And the number one, so let's dive into these. So number one is acts of service or acts of kindness. And that is doing something for someone just to help them. Whether it's like this podcast studio. This is a new studio, guys. So what you're going to see is this is going to morph from here on out. We're changing a different direction as far as how we deliver you our content. And so I came in, I painted in here, put all the chairs together. And this isn't a list of what I've done for you. I don't have to do that. But you know that me handling this is actually very helpful. Correct?
Yes.
And then you can just come into the space. Same thing is us we're having an apartment redone that we own, and you're not handling any of that. Yes. I am. And it helps take things off of you, which then, how does that equate in your mind then?
Less stress, less chaos. It frees me up to be able to do other things.
Yeah, it frees you up to be my wife, which is super important. So like it frees you up to then better express yourself with your spouse or with the person you're in a relationship
with. But
with.
It's also the little things, right? So like let's go to the home front. So if you're like, let's say the wife is the acts of service, right? Yeah. And so the husband or the significant other, it's if she's constantly like, you see her doing the dishes or vacuuming, the laundry, it's if you would just jump in and like wholeheartedly do those things, not just do it just to like get it done with and not do it completely or right. Like truly want to help out and do those things. That's true acts of service.
Yeah, and I actually like doing that stuff. So I will step in, and this isn't because I'm a miracle husband. It's because these are things that I know need to get done that'll help. I cook to help. I do the dishes to help. I do laundry to help, because I just see it as doing it. But I also know that it helps take things off of you, which then works in my favor. It seriously does. And that's the key for me is I want you to feel like the most loved person in the world. I want you to feel as special to me as I want you to feel as special to me as like I see you as special to me. Does that make sense? And for me, it's a little bit different, right? So that's acts of service, kindness, doing things around the house. Gentlemen or ladies out there, maybe your husband is acts of service. A lot of men are not acts of service. They're not. They are. A lot of men are physical touch, and then usually not so much acts of service as it is affirmations and telling them that they're doing a good job. So in your mind, the next thing then is, well, let's talk about affirmations. Yeah. So dive into affirmations, please, because you're good at
So,
this.
well, I struggle with, because I wasn't told affirmations. And so if that person is sometimes always like doing something and looking at you, they're wanting to be told, good job, or I
Yes.
recognize you, like
They
that
just
was
want to think,
great,
they just want to
you
be
cleaned your plate,
recognized.
great job, or you swept the floor. It sounds
Do
and it
you
sometimes
do you guys
feels.
see and hear like how hard this is for her? Like
It is, but it's a work in progress, and I
it
think
is.
that's the biggest thing with a love language. It's not like you did something right or you did something wrong or like you can't fix it. It's you're always learning, and so you
Mhm.
can only get better at it, and it takes time, it takes patience. Sometimes you need to go back and reflect on that sheet of like, okay, what did they say that they were, and that's okay.
And it
Um,
changes
it does,
as
and
people change.
absolutely. And so somebody might start off thinking like they like gifts, but maybe they're like, oh, I like being told that I'm great or I'm
Mhm.
good at this and you're pretty or you're handsome. And maybe that becomes a stronger love language for them. And there could be two or three things that are primary, and all of a sudden you thought it was one thing and it's way at the bottom of the list.
It is way at the bottom of the list in certain things. Like one of the things that probably why opposites somewhat attract a lot of the times is usually something that is super high on one person's list is at the bottom on somebody else's list. For example, physical touch, huge thing for me. Couldn't be more of a 0 on you if not a negative 12. Like yeah, and a lot of women are like this. The other side of it is though is that you will make time for physical touch for our son. You will for me too, but for Brecken for sure. And that's where things get not skewed but changed, because then Brecken in his mind, physical touch becomes a love language. And then because of that, and because you're such a good loving mother, as you can tell, I'm a words person as well. You're beautiful, you're great, you're an amazing mom. You will leave time for that for Brecken, which then he equivalates in his mind that then love language for him is touch. So he's going to try to find that again. And he's probably going to find a woman just like you that will have physical touch open for people, but it'll be different for him. And he's going to have to learn how to navigate that, because I have a mom who's very touchy, who's huggy. And that's who I am. And this isn't a therapy thing, but this is an understanding for
But
people
it's
to get
also the
this.
society. Society has changed so
Yes.
much. Like there has to be masculine and there has to be feminine
Yep.
tendencies.
There has to
And
be.
when you don't have that, so if I don't have some of those feminine qualities
Mm-hmm.
of physical touch and connection, I need my partner to then have those things. And
Mm-hmm.
so it may seem like it's a role that's reversed, but that has to come into relationship. So if it's 100%, if I'm only 30%, I need you to have the other 70%.
Mm-hmm.
So in all of these categories, your significant other needs to add up to 100% whatever we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's incompatibilities, if you're like, why I can never find something or something just doesn't feel right,
Mm-hmm.
start looking at, well, if both of you are 100% physical touch, something else is missing then within that love language.
Yeah, and if you're both 100% physical touch, like
There's no
absolutely
masculinity.
there's no balance then either.
Correct.
And that's not okay. So I think we jumped into the physical touch, didn't hit on the affirmations fully. But affirmations are words of kindness, words to build people up. Like you wake up in the morning, I tell you almost every day when I see you, when I wake you up,
Yeah, if I don't get it with what I'm wearing, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't wear this outfit.
I usually tell you that you're beautiful, you're pretty. I wake you up, I tell you that I'm thankful for you in my life every day, that I am 100% blessed to have you every day. And like those are the things that I tell you, because that's just me telling you that. And I mean every word of it. And that's not to say that I'm a better husband than any other dad out there or husband out there. It's just I project onto Julie what I expect back at times. And that is words of affirmation. Even here's the thing, guys, like if your wife runs off of words of affirmation, there are so many men that I talk to that they're like, yeah, my wife just doesn't get it. I'm like, what do you tell her? Like, what do you say to her? And then I'll talk to the wife. But I've got really good friends that I talk to their wife, and I'm like, she's like, yeah, I wish he would just tell me this. I wish he would just tell me I'm a good mom. I wish he would just tell me that I'm good at what I do. Instead, every time that he says something to her or not criticizes her, most men need to shut up, me to a point, but they always try to provide a solution.
Sometimes we don't need a solution. We just need somebody to listen or just to agree.
So inherently then to her, if he's providing a solution, he's telling her that she's a crap mom.
Or she's wrong.
Or she's wrong, which he's not doing. And he's not. But and then for him on the backside, he gets called an idiot or gets called stupid. And that is like, and he's like, that's like putting a puppy and putting his tail between his legs. And this is somebody that when you would meet them, you're like, there's no way that this guy gets destroyed by words. Yet if you tell him he's dumb or stupid, he's done. And this guy's 6'6", 310 pounds. Like, he's a monster and destroyed by words. So where words build somebody up with affirmations, they also know how to cut somebody down.
It doesn't matter the age.
Very quickly.
Right?
It doesn't matter the age. Peyton, for example, massive words of affirmation. Our daughter loves to be told that she's pretty, loves to be told that she's doing good at something. And she will do things for us. So she likes acts of service on her own time. She likes things done for her. But also, she's not a physical toucher at all. She hugs like a robot all the time. Like, I feel that when somebody gets hugged by Julie, that's my work for 18 years.
You're welcome.
Of teaching her how to hug properly.
I know how to hug.
You're a good hugger. Now, the other side of it is the other side is gifting. And some people love getting gifts. Some people don't love giving gifts. And you find that I am very hard to buy gifts for.
You are, because you gift yourself the gift immediately. You want something, you go and you get it. So it's very difficult when somebody loves gifts. It's finding the right thing, or sometimes it's not the thing, or it's to go and do the thing is that gift. Right. And the people that you think that maybe some of those other people that it's difficult to find them a gift, maybe they don't even want the gift. It's more of the go and do something with you, or the time with that person. Like, that is what they see as a gift. And sometimes those numbers can be skewed just a little bit, that they're the same. And that just means that, like, the gift for them is the time with that person.
Right. And that's quality time. And that, to me, is something that a lot of people, one, overlook, but two, don't know how to do it. And I'm guilty with this too.
Quality time?
Quality time. Because my quality time with somebody is I would say quality time is probably the biggest, grayest area in love languages. Because what in essence is quality time? Is quality time for you, like for somebody, is that going on a walk?
Quality time for me is absolutely like nothing on my agenda, or that quality time for me works best when you go and you're doing something fun. You've gifted yourself a day to go to the range and golf, right? So then that allows me, okay, if you're doing something fun, then I don't feel that I need to do my acts of service or do this and do that. And so for me, quality time for me, like you going into a room and like hanging out with people, that's great for you. Me, I just want to be alone by myself, read a book. That's quality time for myself. And
that actually helps me out a lot, because that lets me know even more that it's okay to leave you alone and not be by you.
Absolutely.
But that's huge, guys, because this is really important, because to me, quality time is spending time with that person, doing something with that person. Like we have very, very close friends that don't live by us. And I want to spend more time with them, and do stuff with them and golf with them and joke with them. And that's quality time to me. But to you, it's actually, your quality time is actually no one around, where then you could have quality time for yourself and not have to be involved with everybody. That's a huge deal, because others, they don't even want to interact. They just want this.
Yep. Or for some people, it could just be quality time for if your spouse is like quality time is the top of their list. Sometimes it's uninterrupted, or like just putting the phone away. sometimes just like being next to that person is all
That's
that's
all
needed,
that they want.
that you don't need to talk,
Mm-hmm.
but it's uninterrupted, it's intentional time with that person if that's what they're looking for.
Right. So like I said, like that's a very gray area. So it is,
So I
and
think
that's a learning curve.
the first step is to honestly take the test,
Mm-hmm.
and both of you like make it fun, right? But take the test and then like ask some questions upon what those things are, and like pretend it's like school, like, but make it fun, like joke around with it and write down what those things are. If it's like quality time, well, what does that mean for you? And like truly take it to heart, so then when things maybe get chaotic or hey, you mess up, like go back and reflect on that, of like, instead of like maybe coming back from flowers, to apologize, maybe the house is clean, or you go and you do the laundry, something like that.
Yeah, and that, like, I don't mind doing laundry. I just know that you hate doing socks and underwear. Everything else you're cool
But
with.
that's quality time.
That's quality
That's
time, right?
quality time that
Here's
I
the
can
other
just do
side. Like
it.
I have the guys. I'm gonna let you know a little secret. If your wife likes acts of service and quality time with herself, run her a bath. Run her a bath. Because here's why. She will not take the time to go run a bath for herself. So you need to go do it.
Takes too long.
Yeah. So you need to go do it and make sure the temperature's right. Number 2, add some essential oils to it. Something calming, something sweet, doesn't matter, just something that makes her feel special. Light 2 candles and send her in there when you have it right. The reason why is this. You just drew her a bath to acts of service. You took the time to make it feel special for her, lit candles and put things in it. Guys, this takes you like 10 minutes. And then you allow her quality time by herself away from everybody. So what you just did is you made her feel the ultimate level of love because you did all of that for her. You didn't know why I do this. And then, guys, it pays off, okay? But she then feels special. And then when she comes out, trust me, she's going to be more in her feminine and not so much in the I need to run the household type situation. So, guys, you will have more of an avenue to then ask if she needs a back rub.
Back rub.
But you see how that 20 minutes and then giving her time to be by herself, if she's a quality time type person, and she's like Julie here where she wants time to herself. One of Julie's biggest things is she loves to read, so she likes to be away. But guys, I just gave you the recipe to help. And if you can take things off their plate or give them,
even if you have kids, right?
Yeah,
Take
kids
the
are the
kids
same
out
way.
of the house.
Get the
and
kids out.
just
Let them have time to themselves. Like that's a huge thing. It's a decompression thing. And for me, like this is a big thing for me too. I love physical touch, but I don't need it all the time. Like I'm not constantly trying to hold your hand even though you may feel like it. There's differences there.
But it's the same thing. I feel like we're maybe one-sided on the male to the female, because males can have that same thing of the quality time.
Mm-hmm.
But say if the husband or the man is, a hard, arduous, work job, and it gets a bad connotation of they come home, they work all day, and you're supposed to, wait on them hand and foot. But when was the last time that you took notice to that and really appreciated, like, thank you for your long day at work, and can I get you something? And go back and like dote on them. Like if you go back to maybe when you were dating, right? You did everything together. So what are those little things that you can do to allow him to actually come home, not throw the kids at the person right away if there's children, but just to really acknowledge and say, thank you for working all day. Thank you for supporting the family. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing that. Can I get you anything to drink? Here I have your favorite dinner.
Those are just special things, and they're not a necessity. I like coming to work, you having a snifter of brandy for me, a cigar, my paper, and my smoking jacket.
Yeah, but that's not you.
No, I don't. But
if I would say, okay, the kids
actually
are gone and we're gonna go, away for the night, or we're just going to stay in and there's no kids, and here I have snacks or I have dinner for us, like that's your gift and that's quality time.
Yeah, and so that's what makes it special. So where with Dr. Chapman though, if we come back to all of this, where do we find that test? Do you remember?
Oh, you can just I think it's literally called the
Love languages.
The 4 love languages. Um, Google, you can find it. The book is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just suggest it's a kind of rainy Sunday, rainy snowy Sunday. Maybe just take the test together. Take it as a family.
Yeah.
Like if your children,
Figure out your
let's
kids.
see, 5 years and up, I think that would be a really good age to maybe start doing it and realize that, make this maybe an annual thing, that
Mm-hmm.
it's going to change. And I think it'll improve the entire family dynamic. It'll improve a relationship dynamic. If you're single and listening to this, it may help put things into place of like if you're demanding something of somebody and
Mm-hmm.
you like physical touch, or if it's the affirmations and you're missing out on a relationship because you didn't tell somebody of like, hey, can you just tell me I look good? And if you're throwing away
I like telling you
a
you look
good
good.
relationship that way. But sometimes we don't realize ourselves why we struggle so much because we don't know our own love language. So this
Mm-hmm.
is just as important for the individual to take it and to also understand if there's other people within your circle of what their love languages are.
Self-empowerment, right? And then know who you are as a person as well. Thanks, Dr. Julie. This has been fantastic, babe. Like it has. And I love having these conversations with you, and there's going to be way more like this. I hope you guys like the space. Trust me, things are going to change around us, behind us. This is just the basics. Got the old Woody here.
I can't really see that. I was
you
looking,
can
can't
see
see it
it
in the
just
camera,
it's
but
just a
we'll
little.
get this
Yep,
area.
we'll get
We'll
things
put
up
something up
behind
there.
us here, and I hope you guys love this new venue and how we're going to be taking the Prime podcast and where it's going to be headed. And
Well, the Prime podcast, there'll be an unveiling.
Yep.
That there'll be a little bit of a name change
Yep.
and a rebrand.
Yep. And you guys are all going to come and pivot with us, and we're going to make this really, really special for you. So thank you so much for tuning in again this week. We absolutely love you all. And as usual, the Prime Podcast here to help you and your family just be a healthier, living, amazing lifestyle, from your faith to your family to your finances, and just being everything we can for you. So we love and appreciate you always tuning in. Take care, everybody. Bye.